The early learning goals of the EYFS. The early years foundation stage sets standards for the learning, development and care of young children from birth to 5 years old. In this video, we'll go over and explain the 17 early learning goals that can be found in the EYFS early years foundation stage. But first, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel, Open Nursery, with myself, Kurt Liania, where I support you to open, run and grow your own nursery. If this is your first time here, when you're finished with this video, do check out the channel. Check out my other popular videos like what is safeguarding and passing your Ofsted visit. And don't forget to subscribe. I post regular videos all around the topic of childcare. In this video, we are going over the early learning goals, which can be found in the latest version of the Early Years Foundation Stage Statutory Framework. The Early Learning Goals is an update to the previous statutory framework for the EYFS, which applied from the 4th of September 2023. Within this, each child is assessed whilst at nursery and in reception or at any other child provision against the 17 early learning goals. These 17 early learning goals form part of the 7 areas of learning, which, if you've worked with the previous EYFS statutory framework, you should or may be familiar with. The 7 areas of learning remain the same as in the previous EYFS. So you still have the 3 prime areas, which include communication language, which involves the development of children's spoken language, which underpins and supports all 7 areas of learning and development. You also have personal, social and emotional development, which is crucial for children to lead healthy and happy lives, and is fundamental to children's cognitive development. And the final prime area is physical development, which also supports children's all-round development as they develop their fine and gross motor skills and improve their strength and coordination. These 3 prime areas are particularly important for learning and forming relationships. They build a foundation for children to thrive and provide a basis for learning in all areas. You also have the 4 specific areas of learning, which help strengthen and develop the 3 prime areas and ignite children's enthusiasm and curiosity. The 4 specific areas of learning are literacy, which consists of 2 key elements: language comprehension and word reading. Mathematics, which involves developing a strong grounding in numbers so that all children develop the necessary building blocks to excel mathematically. Understanding of the world, which involves guiding children to make sense of their physical world and their community. And finally, expressive art and design. The development of children's artistic and cultural awareness supports their imagination and creativity. It is important that children have regular opportunities to engage with the arts, enabling them to engage with, play and explore a wide range of media and materials. Each area of development has its own early learning goals, which highlights the level of development children are expected to have reached by the end of the EYFS. These early learning goals should enable practitioners to make holistic, best fit judgments about a child's development at the end of the EYFS and help support the child in their readiness for year 1. With that being said, we'll go over the 17 early learning goals of the EYFS, starting with those that fall under the area of learning of communication language, with the first early learning goal being listening, attention and understanding. Here, children at the expected level of development will listen attentively and respond to what they hear with relevant questions, comments and actions when being read to and during whole class discussions, as well as small group interactions. They will make comments about what they have heard and ask questions to clarify their understanding, and will hold conversations when engaged in back and forth exchanges with their teachers and peers. The second early learning goal under communication language is speaking. Here, children will be encouraged to participate in small group, class and one-to-one discussions, offering their own ideas and use a vocabulary they may have recently learned, to offer explanations as to why things might happen, again making use of recently introduced vocabulary that they may have learned from stories, non-fiction, rhymes and poems, and doing so appropriately, and be able to express their own ideas and feelings about their experiences using full sentences, including the use of past, present and future tense, and making use of conjunctions with modelling and support from their peers, family members or practitioners. Moving on to the second area of learning and the next 3 early learning goals, starting with the early learning goal of self-regulation. Here, children will be expected to show an understanding of their own feelings and the feelings of others, and be able to regulate their behaviour accordingly, to set and work towards simple goals, being able to wait for what they want, and be able to control their immediate impulses where appropriate, and be able to give focused attention to what their practitioners say, responding appropriately even when engaged in an activity, and be able to follow instructions involving several ideas or actions. The next early learning goal is around building relationships. Here, children will learn to work and play cooperatively and take turns with others, form positive attachments with adults and friendships with peers, and show sensitivity to their own needs and others. And finally, you have managing self, whereby children at the expected level of development will be confident to try new activities and show independence, resilience and perseverance in the face of challenges, explain the reasons for rules, knowing right from wrong and trying to behave accordingly, and be able to manage their own basic personal and hygiene needs, including dressing, going to the toilet, and understanding the importance of healthy food choices. These 3 early learning goals fall under the area of development of personal, social and emotional development. The next area of development is physical development, where you get 2 early learning goals. Your gross motor skills, which is about helping children to negotiate space and obstacles safely with consideration for themselves and others, demonstrate strength, coordination and balance whilst playing, and be able to move energetically in a range of motions such as running, jumping, dancing, hopping, skipping and climbing. And then you have your fine motor skills, which involves holding the pencil effectively in preparation for handwriting, using a tripod grip in most cases, being able to use a wide range of small tools, including scissors, paintbrushes and cutlery, and begin to show accuracy and care with things like their drawing. Moving on to the 4 specific areas. Under literacy, children have the following 3 early learning goals. Firstly, around comprehension, where children are encouraged to demonstrate an understanding of what has been read to them by retelling stories and narratives using their own words and recently introduced vocabulary, anticipate, where appropriate, key events in stories, and use and understand recently learnt vocabulary, which they have picked up from the stories during discussions about stories and other parts of their play, like in role play. Around word reading, where children are taught to say the sound of each letter of the alphabet and to start learning some diagraphs, read words consistent with their phonic knowledge by blending sounds, and then begin to start reading aloud simple sentences and books that is consistent with their phonic knowledge, including some common exception words. And around writing, where children will be shown to write recognizable letters, spell words by identifying the sounds in them and representing the sounds with a letter or letters, and begin to write simple phrases or sentences which can be read by others. The next specific area of learning is mathematics, where children learn numbers, being able to have a deep understanding of numbers up to 10, including the composition of each number, be able to recognize the quantity of things up to 5 without needing to count them, and be able to automatically recall number bonds of up to 5 and some number bonds up to 10, and learning number patterns, being able to verbally count beyond 20, recognizing the pattern of the counting system, being able to compare quantities of up to 10 in different contexts, recognizing when one quantity is greater than or less than or the same as another quantity, and recognizing and exploring and representing patterns within numbers up to 10, including even and odds, doubling and halving, and understanding how quantities can be distributed equally. In Understanding the World, there are 3 more early learning goals. The first, titled Past and Present. Here, children will talk about the lives of people around them and their roles within society, know some similarities and differences between the things in the past and now, drawing on their experiences and what has been read in class, and understand the past through settings, characters and events encountered in books. The next early learning goal is people, culture and communities, where with support, children will describe their immediate environment using knowledge from observations, discussions, stories and other things, know some similarities and differences between different religious and cultural communities within this country, drawing on their own experiences and things that have been taught within the nursery, and be able to explain some differences and similarities between life in this country and life in other countries. Again, drawing on their own experiences from things they have seen and some things they have been taught. And the final early learning goal under understanding of the world is the natural world, where children will explore the natural world around them, making observations and drawing pictures of animals and plants, know some similarities and differences between the natural world around them and contrasting environments, and understand some important processes and changes in the natural world around them, including seasons and changing states of matter. Moving on to the final area of development, which is expressive art and design. The early learning goals in this area of development involve creating with materials, where children will be learning to safely use and explore a variety of materials, tools and techniques, experimenting with colour, design, texture, form and function, share their creations, explaining the processes they have used, and make use of props and materials when role-playing characters in narratives and stories, and being imaginative and expressive, where children should be able to demonstrate to us that they can invent, adapt and recount narratives and stories with peers and nursery practitioners, sing a wide range of nursery rhymes and songs, perform songs, rhymes, poems and stories with others, and where appropriate, move in time with music. Nursery practitioners should use these early learning goals to assess children in the different areas of learning, though it's important to note that the EYFS continues up until a child turns 5 years old. So children will still be working on the EYFS and these early learning goals when they start school in reception. So these goals are what we want children to be able to reach and be able to achieve prior to them entering into year 1 at school. Nursery practitioners should be ambitious for all children, taking into account each child's needs, interests and level of development. Those working with babies and younger children should focus on the 3 prime areas of development to give children a firm foundation in their learning, focusing on the 7 early learning goals in these areas of development, which include listening, attention and understanding, speaking, self-regulation, managing self, building relationships, gross motor skills and fine motor skills. When working with children, it is important that nursery practitioners take into account and consider the characteristics of effective learning, which I've covered in the video that you see on the screen now. If you want to learn more about that, then head over to that video now by clicking the link on the screen. But before you go over there, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I post regular videos all around the topic of childcare. So I'll see you on the next video. God bless.